In this video clip, a man went to extreme lengths to boost his online viewership. He shockingly subjected his pregnant girlfriend to physical abuse during a live stream. What's worse, he forcibly downed to her underwear, and locking her outside in freezing sub-zero temperatures for a grueling 15 minutes. This horrific series of behaviors ultimately resulted in 1 corpse, 2 lives. However, even after learning of his girlfriend's demise, this man shockingly continued to live stream for over 2 hours, using her lifeless body as a backdrop, only ending the broadcast when police and medical personnel arrived on the scene. The verdict in this case has left many feeling a sense of injustice and anger. Stas Rifley, a 30-year-old from Russia, resided in a rented apartment in the northern part of Moscow. His primary source of income was collecting donations and tips from viewers during his video live streams. Unlike other conventional content creators, Rifley and his girlfriend Valentina, along with other friends, engaged in bizarre activities on camera, such as drinking alcohol, playing pranks, and resorting to violence to attract viewers and garner tips. In Rifley's live streams, there were prominently displayed tasks in the upper left corner, each with a set price. For example, 150 rubles for standing in a corner for 1 minute, 3,000 rubles for sitting on a bottle for 1 minute, and so on. These were all rather tasteless tasks. On the evening of December 1, 2020, Rifley was conducting his live stream as usual. Besides his girlfriend Valentina, there was also a female friend named Marina present. During the initial part of the broadcast, the 3 of them, much like their routine, were seen consuming alcohol and occasionally engaging in vulgar tasks based on the donations they received from viewers. However, things took a turn for the worse when Valentina drank excessively, leading to her vomiting repeatedly in the live stream. Under the influence of alcohol, she began to express her dissatisfaction with Marina, accusing her of getting too close to Rifley, and criticizing Rifley for his ambiguous and boundary-lacking interactions with members of the opposite sex. Rifley, witnessing Valentina's drunken outburst and the nauseating mess on the floor, grew increasingly infuriated. He felt humiliated by Valentina's behavior in front of his online audience. In a fit of rage, he resorted to profanity, hurling derogatory insults such as whore and prostitute at Valentina. In her semi-intoxicated state, Valentina retaliated with insults of her own. The exchange escalated, leading to Rifley physically assaulting Valentina, throwing punches and kicks at her. Despite Marina's efforts to intervene, her pleas fell on deaf ears. Out of fear, Marina eventually left Rifley's apartment. Let's take another look at Rifley's live stream, which shockingly remained unblocked by the platform despite the violent scenes, and the number of viewers even increased. Rifley, seemingly fueled by this surge in viewership, intensified his physical assault on Valentina, specifically targeting her head. After the brutal beating, Valentina collapsed on the floor, groaning in pain. However, Rifley's brutality didn't end there. A viewer offered to donate $1,000 under one condition: Rifley needed to torment his girlfriend in a novel way, not just go through the motions. Rifley responded by pouring a bucket of icy water directly onto Valentina, who was already lying on the floor, and then forcibly removed her clothing. He pushed her out onto the freezing balcony, and during the push, Valentina attempted to wrap herself in a jacket, but Rifley heartlessly snatched it away, callously stating, "You need to sober up." So there she was, Valentina locked outside in the freezing Russian December night. The temperature was well below -10 degrees Celsius, and Valentina, nearly naked, wearing only her underwear, was 5 months pregnant. She had previously shared her pregnancy news with the audience in her personal live streams, even proudly displaying her pregnant belly. Despite being well aware of this, Rifley callously left Valentina stranded on the second-floor balcony with no means of escape, as she desperately pounded on the door, begging Rifley to let her in because it was unbearably cold outside. But Rifley showed no concern for her life or safety and continued interacting with his viewers in the live stream, completely ignoring Valentina's pleas. As more and more people joined the live stream, some began to condemn Rifley's cruelty. Some viewers suggested that Rifley should go and check on Valentina, But he used this as an opportunity to make demands, stating that he would bring her inside only if someone donated $1,000. Minutes ticked by, and Valentina's cries for help and knocking on the door grew weaker until they were completely silent. After approximately 15 agonizing minutes, a viewer finally donated $1,000, prompting Reflay to get up and drag Valentina back inside. However, by then, Valentina showed no signs of life. Ironically, at this point, Reflay's livestream had gathered over 10,000 viewers and was still rapidly growing. Seeing this massive influx of traffic, Reflay saw an opportunity to earn even more tips. In a grotesque display, he began a feeble performance in front of the camera. He pretended to perform CPR on Valentina and, with fake sorrow, shouted, "My dear, wake up, I'm so worried, are you still alive? Why can't I feel your heartbeat?" Following that, Reflay returned to his camera and addressed his audience of over 10,000 viewers, saying, "Guys, she doesn't have a pulse, her face is pale, and she's not breathing." He put on a crying expression and pretended to call the police and the emergency center. Why do we say Reflay pretended to make the call? Because what he did next was anger-inducing and chilling. He placed Valentina's lifeless body on the sofa behind him and continued his live stream for over 2 hours with her body in the background, all the while without any rescue efforts or police intervention. The popularity of his live stream continued to soar, and Reflay interacted with his audience while occasionally pretending to beg his girlfriend to wake up. At this point, some viewers in the chat realized that something was terribly wrong. This wasn't part of the stream's scripted content. It was a real person who had died. Some viewers advised Reflay not to call the authorities, while others even provided instructions on how to hide the crime and handle the body. Of course, there were also viewers who recognized the wrongdoing and called emergency and police hotlines. Finally, medical professionals and the police, following leads provided by viewers, located Reflay's apartment. After an examination, medical personnel on the scene confirmed Valentina's death, and Reflay only complied with the police's orders to end the live stream. Just before ending the stream, he even waved and smiled at his audience. It's worth noting that after Valentina's death, Reflay continued to live stream for approximately 2 more hours. As the investigation deepened, the authorities uncovered even more shocking live stream content from Reflay. This content included humiliation, sadistic behavior, and misogynistic acts. Valentina, his girlfriend, was the primary target of his abuse. In one video segment, Reflay and his friends heartlessly sprayed pepper spray on Valentina while she was on the sofa, causing her to roll on the ground in pain, screaming. Reflay, however, sat calmly in front of the camera, as if unconcerned, sipping his alcohol. When Valentina stopped screaming, they would pick up the pepper spray and continue spraying her, as if only her cries and tears could stop their cruel prank. Additionally, Reflay would physically overpower Valentina during his live streams, gripping her head and shaking it violently. What's even more disgraceful is that, during conflicts in the live stream, Reflay would use Valentina, who was slender and small, as a human shield to protect himself from harm. There was another video segment where Valentina sat in front of the computer, and another woman in a white dress screamed and physically assaulted her, even throwing a plate of food directly at her head. These videos were numerous, and the individuals in them were typically in a state of drunkenness or drug use. Reflay seemed to take great pleasure in showing how he humiliated women. During his live streams, he would have women sit on his lap and engage in various sexually suggestive actions, or he would mimic the mating behaviors of animals. In summary, his live stream content was extremely vulgar and often made people uncomfortable. Despite all of this, Reflay amassed a large following of fans who applauded his actions in the live stream and rewarded him with donations, encouraging him to engage in even more indecent and violent behavior. The stark contrast between the agonizing cries and suffering in the live stream and the cheerful comments from the viewers was truly disheartening. So, why didn't Valentina, who had suffered Reflay's violence and abuse for a long time, leave him? The real reasons, we can't know for sure, but 2 points should be noted. First, Valentina seemed to enjoy the atmosphere in Reflay's live stream, as many viewers praised her performing talent, considering her a brilliant performer. Being an actress was Valentina's dream, and the audience's praise made her deeply immersed in it. Second, Valentina had been carrying Reflay's child for 5 months, and she loved him. However, Reflay didn't love her. He only saw her as a tool to help him make money. Regarding Valentina's cause of death, initially, Moscow authorities determined it to be due to the cold, as the live stream video showed Valentina died after Reflay forcibly locked her on the cold balcony. If Valentina did indeed die from the cold, according to Russian law, Reflay would only face a maximum of 2 years in prison. Such a verdict would seem unfair to anyone, wouldn't it? During the interrogation, Reflay claimed that he had nothing to do with Valentina's death. He stated that Valentina had consumed a large amount of alcohol during the live stream and had even used soft drugs, which he believed to be the true cause of her death. Fortunately, Moscow authorities did not fully believe Reflay's words. The forensic department examined and autopsied Valentina's body, finding multiple bruises on her face and multiple instances of soft tissue bleeding. They ultimately confirmed that Valentina's cause of death was not from freezing but rather from head injuries leading to bleeding. Although Reflay admitted to physically assaulting Valentina during the live stream, he still denied that he had beaten her to death. Through his lawyer, he claimed his innocence and appealed to have the arrest warrant revoked to prove his innocence. However, the court rejected Reflay's appeal and conducted a psychological and mental health examination before the trial, ruling out the possibility of him being mentally abnormal and deeming him within the bounds of responsibility. On the day of the trial, Reflay's mother was also present, defending her son by saying he was a very kind person who wouldn't even harm a small kitten. But the opposite was true. Reflay was extremely cruel, even willing to commit murder to earn more donations from the viewers. In the end, the court sentenced Reflay to 6 years in prison for intentional harm. Yes, you heard it right, only 6 years. How do you view this sentencing outcome? Do you think it's fair? Feel free to leave your comments below. After this case was reported, the people of Russia were filled with righteous indignation and condemned the perpetrator, Reflay. However, they seemed to overlook another accomplice, in this case, the viewers in the live stream. Their indifference and morbid curiosity contributed to the tragedy. By incentivizing the streamer through donations, they encouraged the streamer to engage in behaviors that were not only morally wrong but also illegal, all to satisfy their dark curiosity. What's even more frightening is that these viewers who incited the streamer to engage in inappropriate actions believe that they bear no responsibility for what happens in front of the live stream camera. In the case of Valentina's death, Reflay's fans don't think they should shoulder any blame. Due to the sensational nature of this case, the Russian president's Human Rights Council publicly stated that it was, in fact, a public murder. If such live streams are not stopped, similar events will continue to occur. Some lawyers have proposed that, in cases like this, not only should the streamer be held accountable, but the viewers who actively encourage these actions should also be held responsible. Their behavior could be categorized as incitement. However, when faced with a large number of viewers, pursuing their legal liability is easier said than done. Furthermore, what about the responsibility of the live streaming platforms themselves? Shouldn't they also be held accountable?